Hey everyone, how are we today? It is coming into that full moon energy. It does start tonight here in Australia, but we're not hitting that peak until sort of Sunday night. But, wanting to sort of take advantage of that full moon energy and get our shadow work reading done for you guys. I do find for myself that the full moon is sort of the best period to be bringing in that shadow work energy and sort of working through a few things that we might need to sort of finalize within ourselves, and then in the new moons we can sort of set new intentions and work from there. So I do find the full moons to be really a good time to sort of be looking at shadow work aspects of ourselves. Okay, so this reading is all about aspects within yourself that you may want to sort of look at a little bit more deeply, and for your self growth and personal betterment. Of course nothing is set in stone. This is a collective reading, so things may be a little bit different for everyone within the collective sign. And you may also maybe check your moon sign as well, because obviously, since we're talking about moon energy, your moon sign may be quite strong as well. All right, now this is a full moon in Sagittarius. Okay, it's what they call a strawberry moon. So, it's not going to look like a cute little strawberries, unfortunately, but it is a really good time for revelations maybe coming to the surface, things that you may be sort of understanding about yourself, that revealing things to yourself that you never even sort of took into consideration. There is a big emphasis on your personal values and your self-worth. Okay, so especially when it comes to shadow work, this month it is actually a really good time to be doing shadow work when it comes to those personal revelations and those self-worth things within ourselves. All right, your own values. So it's all about kind of stepping back and looking at the bigger picture this month with the full moon energy. So I will be going through all the signs today. I am starting off with, I do like to save these cards for my shadow work readings. So we do have the Heal Yourself reading cards there. I will be doing a few cards with the Red Hand Lenormand. That is an extended deck, so there is quite a few extra things, and we do find there is quite a lot of dark elements come through with this Red Hand deck. So I really wanted to use that for the shadow work stuff as well. But I will be finishing off each reading today with some sort of affirmations from the Spirit Junkie deck. It's kind of, technically I believe an oracle deck, but it's kind of more of an affirmations deck. Okay, so we'll see what comes through with that as well. Now, as always, do bear in mind that I will be taking timestamps as we go. So if you see me writing things down, that's all I'm doing. Also, if everyone wants to leave a comment and let me know what you do think about the shadow work portions of my readings. I do sometimes include them in the general readings, but I do like to do the monthly full moon shadow work reading. So let me know what you guys think about the shadow work readings. Everyone that does leave a comment will go in the draw for that free personal reading as well. So make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can keep updated. But every single like and subscribe really does mean the world to me. We are just a small channel, so it really does help the channel grow, and I really appreciate it. So if you could leave a like and a comment, much appreciated, guys. But we'll get straight over into. Oh, and I also probably should let you guys know as well, the signs that are probably going to feel the effects of this full moon the most. We do have Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. You guys probably are going to be feeling this a little bit heavier than others. Obviously, it is a full moon in Sagittarius, and its opposition is Gemini as well. Okay, so you guys probably are going to feel that quite strongly this month. All right. But like I said, there may be some big revelations happening for everyone this month. So it'll be interesting to see what happens for everyone. And don't mind me, I do have a lozenge going because, I have had a few sinus issues, being that it's just heading into winter over here in Australia. So, I am sorry in advance if I do cough through any of the readings, okay? But we'll get started with Aries. How are we today, Aries? Just doing our shadow work readings for this full moon energy. Aries. What do you want Aries to be aware of for their shadow work, please? What does Aries need to be aware of, please? Okay, Aries. Firstly, we do have discover your true purpose. So yeah, definitely feeling like we're going to get some big revelations coming through for you, Aries, this month with that full moon energy. Discovering your life's purpose. That's like a huge thing, right? All about learning a little bit more about yourself and what it is that you do truly desire in this world. All right. And then we do have the courage coming through as well. So maybe a time to, face your fears, Aries, and, enact some bravery just within yourself. And if there is anything that you have been not sort of brave enough, not courageous enough to take on at the moment, it may be the time to start considering taking some action towards those things. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab 3 cards for each of those Heal Yourself Oracle that we've drawn today. So why does Aries need to discover their life's purpose? Why is Aries shadow work to discover their life's purpose, please? Okay, and why does Aries need to have courage? What is courage about for Aries, please? Okay. Okay, so Aries, I do, because this red hand deck is like it's this deck here, the red hand deck, because this is a relatively new deck and it's got so many extra cards. I am still double checking the meanings there just to make sure that I am definitely going with the right sort of interpretations for us, because firstly we do have the octopus coming through. So when we're talking about discovering your life's purpose, I do straight away kind of feel that whole vibe with the octopus. They squirt the ink. So I'm feeling that it has been quite clouded and shadowed, and you've been struggling to see through the water when it comes to what your life purpose is all about there, Aries. But I'll just double check with the booklet and make sure I can read those keywords to you, okay? Because it does say, camouflage and, multitasking, wit, being capable, adaptable, intelligent, skilled at many different things, resourceful, regenerative, soft, deceptive, and hidden. Okay, so as you can kind of imagine with the imagery of the octopus there, they're quite an intelligent creature. That there is that element, like I said, of things being hidden with the ink that they do squirt out or whatever. But also, yeah, when it says skilled at many things, I feel as though that's what's going on with this card for you, Aries. You may be sort of that jack of all trades, master of none kind of vibe going on there, where you are quite skilled at quite a few different things. So it's all about discovering which of those things are you actually passionate about, which of those things actually help you sort of, I will say, grow in this life. We do have the tree and the heart rounding out that there for us. Okay, so straight away I am feeling that, you know, when it comes to trying to work out what it is that you want in this life, Aries, that we're sort of really needing to look at the things that, you know, the things that make us go boom boom boom, and that really drive that ambition and passion within us, and you know, the things that we love, as well as the things that help us grow and be better within this world. Okay, so when it comes to discovering your life purpose, you may be good at a multitude of things, but it's really sort of focusing down onto, you know, just that one or two things that you truly do have passion for, you know, and that you feel as though are going to give you the most growth in your life. Okay, so this definitely could be talking about your career, Aries, your career space, those kinds of things. You know, obviously not always just career, but it also could just be the way that you interact with other people. You know, are you more of a healing type person? All those sorts of things. You know, what's your life's purpose when it comes to how you deal with other people? Do you want to teach other people, you know, along the path? Those sorts of ideas coming through as well. But, you know, there is a big emphasis on that self-growth coming through at the moment with that as well. That tree is all about self-care and self-growth. But I do feel as though it's really looking at, you know, you've got all these branches going every which way, Aries, and it's really sort of focusing back on this trunk, I feel, for you at the moment, focusing back down at what keeps you feeling, you know, rooted down into the ground, what keeps you stable through those storms. Okay, so we do get with the octopus as well, quite a lot of tentacles flapping around there. So I am getting quite a sense of, yeah, Aries sort of got their hand in a lot of different things at the moment in their life, but really sort of needing to focus down into, you know, the things that make you feel, you know, the most stable, the things that really do drive that passion and that love for you, Aries. You know, actually stopping and looking at the things that, you know, you do actually feel loving towards, you know, the things that you do in your life that you do with love. What are those things? And that may actually help you find a little bit more of yourself and your true purpose in this world. Okay, so is it your true purpose to just you know, follow that path of self, or is it your true purpose to follow a path of love and you know, incorporate other people into yourself as well? You know, the love energy, it can have a strong energy of, you know, needing other people to you know, to love basically, and to be able to show your love to other people, as well as receive it off them as well, and you know, being quite passionate about that and quite loving with yourself on this journey as well. All right. So we are also seeing that courage card coming through, and then we do have, with that courage card, I do feel as though the first two cards I've drawn are kind of talking a little bit about where you have been, when it comes to courage. We do see the beetle, as well as the chains. Okay, so straight away the chains, pretty much solid imagery for everyone there, right? That, you know, something chaining you down. So you're kind of feeling chained down and unable to act courageously. Certain things that are holding you back and stopping you from, you know, it's kind of giving me that image of somebody, you know, in like a straitjacket kind of chains. You know, I feel as though it's yourself, restraining yourself. You know, not having the courage to be your true self, and to, you know, once we did see with that heart, not give your full heart to others there. And why are you restraining yourself so much, Aries? Like, is it a fear that you know, that you'll be hurt? Because, you know, there is that risk with everything that we do, that we'll be hurt, you know, on an emotional level. But I am just really getting that strong sense that you are trying to protect yourself, and you are restraining yourself quite a lot though. And at the end of the day, the more that you restrain yourself, it's you in the chains. It's not protecting you, it's holding you back, kind of a vibe. So maybe having the courage to break free of those chains at the moment, Aries, and you know, get out of this you know, with the beetle, we do have a very protective kind of mode going on as well. You know, the beetle armor, it's kind of like an armor, you know, this tough exterior, but then underneath there's these beautiful wings. So it's kind of like, don't chain yourself down, allow those wings to come out so you can fly, you know, and be the beetle that you're supposed to be, kind of thing, you know. You know, now the beetle does have emphasis on teamwork, so I do feel as though maybe not relying on other people as much as what you could be as well, especially when that was rounded out with the city energy. Okay, so I do feel as though that's sort of a bit more on the line of advising us where to go with this courage. Okay, so instead of holding ourselves down and protecting ourselves so rigidly, Aries, you know, expanding and becoming quite busy and social. You know, cities are hectic and they're, you know, they're all over the place, and you know, so it's quite that busy kind of social kind of thing, relying on other people, you know, finding your little network that you can rely on these people within the city. So if you get lost, you can go and ask for directions and whatnot as well. So I feel as though there's a big element with this courage coming through, that's sort of speaking directly to relying on other people, opening up to other people a little bit more, being a little bit more vulnerable with other people, and you know, just being able to rely on them, and you know, have that busyness when it comes to your social self, you know, getting out there and not chaining yourself back, not restraining yourself, not hiding your true self, but actually, you know, getting out there in that city, and you know, that hustle and bustle, and you know, just surrounding yourself with people a little bit. I feel Aries is coming through quite strongly with that there. So that's quite interesting for you, Aries, but we'll see what wants to come through for affirmations for you. Affirmations for Aries with their shadow work, please. Affirmations for Aries with their shadow work, please. Okay, that's quite interesting. It seems that we've got one come out for each of those as well, because as I was talking about, you know, relying on other people, we do have this particular affirmation coming out there, and it does say, "I seek out happy people who inspire me to be great." Okay, so yeah, expanding that social network, you know, seeking out happy people who inspire you to greatness. So, you know, that they inspire you to stop chaining yourself down, you know, inspiring you to, you know, expand and be vulnerable and be open. Okay, and then when it comes to, you know, finding your life's purpose, we do have this one here, which does say, "My genuine desire to serve clears the path for me to step into my purpose." Okay, so what is it, or who is it that you want to serve, Aries? Like, what do you want to serve in your life? What do you want? You know, like when it talks about serve, it doesn't mean like that's not a negative thing. It's like we all are in service to, you know, do you want to be in service to God or something like that? You know, it's definitely like a whole bunch of different things there. But it's talking about, you know, what factors in your life do you want to serve? Do you want to serve, you know, happiness? Because, you know, if you're not trying to actively serve happiness and loving, you know, purpose, you are not going to actually be able to find that. You know, what's the opposite to happiness? You know, if you are constantly serving that happiness, that sadness up to yourself, that's what you will see. You know, so it's really that genuine desire to serve. So what is it that you truly want to serve within yourself and within your life there, and that will help you step into your purpose as well, Aries. But um, that's what I've got for you today, Aries. Like I said, make sure you do leave a comment and let me know, you know, what you guys think when it comes to your shadow work. Does that sort of align with, you know, the things that have been going on for you in your life lately? Okay. So we'll move over to Taurus. How are we today, Taurus? Just doing our shadow work reading today. So I'm going to grab you 2 of the Heal Yourself cards here, and we'll work from there. Taurus, shadow work for Taurus, please. Whoa. Dropping them everywhere, Taurus. One more for Taurus and their shadow work, please. Okay, so Taurus, we're starting off for you with self-love, okay? So there's obviously some elements of self-love that you do need to look at within yourself. You may be sort of beating yourself up a little bit at the moment when it comes to certain things that have happened in your past, those kinds of things. Like we did say, this full moon, this full moon does have a strong emphasis on your personal values and your self-worth. So we're definitely seeing that reflected here for you, Taurus, with that self-love aspect. Okay, so really needing to look at what it is within yourself that you need to, be more loving towards yourself about what you, what do you truly value in this world, and how can we, talk to ourselves in a loving way that's going to help us achieve those goals. All right, and the second card I have for you today, Taurus, is victim consciousness. All right, so that card really does talk about, there's certain aspects within everybody where we do, play the victim a little bit, like certain things that we may have gone through in the past where, like, you may have been like, I'm not trying to blame anyone or anything like that, but you may have been a a willing player in some drama or trouble in the past, and there's not many people out there that haven't done things that they regret. So it's actually stopping and looking at the things where you have gone wrong in certain situations, and it's like, are you playing the victim, or are you truly the victim to these things in the past? Like, if you have dealt with someone in the past and they have blamed you for something, is that blame correct or not? Okay, like, is there elements where, things where you could have done something better to actually rectify that situation? Are we sort of blaming others for things that we should actually be taking a bit more responsibility for? Okay, so it's a bit of a hard one there, Taurus. I definitely don't mean to be harsh at all, or blamey, judgy, or anything like that. I definitely have victim consciousness is definitely something that I've been well aware of in my lifetime. All right, so Taurus and self-love for their shadow work, please. Taurus and self-love with their shadow work element. That's very supportive of that energy there. I'll just grab you a few more cards for that victim consciousness, and then we'll go through that. Victim consciousness for Taurus shadow work, please. What do Taurus need to be aware of for victim consciousness in their shadow work? Okay, so when it comes to your self-love, Taurus, I do have here the lily, the dog, and then that's actually rounded out with the heart. Okay, so self-love, obviously, it just wanted to let us know it's super important for you at the moment, Taurus, that self-love, and that being in that loving mood towards yourself, and the way that you're thinking about things and dealing with things, having that loving energy. There's a song, I can never remember what the song is, but it says, would you talk to your friends the way that you talk to yourself? So it's like really stopping and looking at the little voice in our head that tells us, you're not this, you're not that, you're this or that. Would you say that to somebody that you love? Would you say that to somebody that you care about? No, you probably would not. You would not outright say things like that to people. Whereas why do you say it to yourself? Okay, so that's probably a good question for you at the moment, Taurus, is if you wouldn't speak to other people like that, why do you speak to yourself like that? All right. We do have the lily coming through. So the lily is all about that emotional vulnerability with yourself. So really sitting down and looking at why why we are wanting, why are we speaking to ourselves in that manner, like being quite emotionally vulnerable with yourself and taking some time, probably alone, to actually sit there and sit with your emotions and sit with, why is it that I feel this way about myself, and those sorts of elements, really actually just bringing that focus onto your self-love aspects, and the things that you may not like about yourself. Why? What is there a logical reason, or are you just not your type? You know what I mean? I heard that recently actually somewhere, and I really like that. It's like it was like a girl looking in the mirror saying, "Oh, you're so ugly," and someone says to her, "You're not ugly. You're just not your type." Like, makes sense, right? Because like you look at other people and you go, oh my gosh, that they're so beautiful, so they are your type, but maybe you are not. So it's really sort of, like I said, looking at other I keep getting that vibe of using other people as examples for you, Taurus. So maybe it is a sense of, looking at other people and seeing the things about them that you actually do really love and care about with these people, and actually stopping and real being like emotionally vulnerable with yourself and saying, hang on, I'm like that too, and showing some love to yourself for the fact that, hang on, these things that I'm seeing in other people that I absolutely adore, I actually have the ability to do that or be like that. I do that already. Like, like actually stopping and even using that comparison to, find the things within yourself that you do really love. Because, I'm sure that there's definitely something in everyone, that is beautiful. Okay, so the lily also is about, that longevity as well. So, do you want to be thinking these things in another 20 years? No, probably not. Do you want to, still feel the same way about yourself 20 years from now, or do you want to be sort of content and happy with who you are? So it's really sort of taking that into consideration as well, like the longevity of, the more and more that you tell yourself these things, the more and more you're going to believe them. So start telling yourself positive things now, and 20 years from now, that will just be part and parcel of who you are. You won't second guess it anymore. Okay, it might take a while to get into it, but after a while, the more you tell yourself something, the more it makes sense that that's the truth. Okay, and we do also have the dog there as well. So the dog really does talk, in this sense, it can talk about friendships. I do feel as though maybe that's where we're getting that energy of looking at other people and the things that you love about them, and even maybe asking your friends, like, what are my good qualities? Like, if you're emotionally vulnerable with your friends and asking them, look, I'm just having a bad time at the moment. Can you just like tell me what are the things that you like about me? And they may actually be able to point out a few things about you that you never saw within yourself. So sometimes it's actually really good to be around the people that are loving and supportive of us, and they can help us with things like that. But a lot of the time, I feel as though this is that loyalty towards yourself when it comes to shadow work. This is having that compassion for yourself and that loyalty to yourself and to your self-care. So especially with the heart there as well, it's all about having that, look, I want to love myself more. I am going to be, I'm going to do this and this and this to love myself more. And I'm going to stay loyal to that. And I'm going to do that every day or every week or whatever it is. I'm going to tell myself I love myself, or whatever it may be for you. All right. So I kind of want to grab your affirmation for that straight away. So we'll have a look and see. Affirmation for self-care, self-love for Taurus, please. Affirmation for self-love for Taurus. Here we go, Taurus. I bring peace with me wherever I go. Okay, so maybe there's something about you that's quite peaceful and restful, and you've got that sense of inner peace, and maybe that's one of the things that other people love about you and can see that in you. Okay, but as an affirmation, I bring peace with me wherever I go. So I am peace, I am love. That might be a really great affirmation for you guys this month. All right. Now, when it comes to that victim consciousness, like I said, this is a little bit more harder energy. So I am sorry if I can be a little bit confronting. When I do talk about certain things like this. But what we are seeing is the key first and foremost. So really the need to open up to ourselves and be honest with ourselves. Okay. Unlocking certain aspects within ourselves of, hang on, maybe I am playing the victim when it comes to that particular situation. Like if I'm going around telling everybody, oh, I can't believe they did this, they did that, they did this, they did that. Stop. Think about it and reword yourself to, I did. I dealt with it like you really need to start thinking more about the I rather than the they, all right, or she or he, instead of blaming, because that's what it's all about, this victim consciousness thing. It can be quite a lot about blaming others. So if we, I'm not saying that, that they haven't done anything wrong, because, if a lot of the time when it's these sorts of situations, it's kind of like there is guilt on both sides, all right, but it's really talking about taking responsibility for your own actions. And like I said, instead of just constantly blaming others and saying, look, I can't believe they all did this to me, or I can't believe I've been left in this spot, or it's more about working out how to get out of it, or what have you done to put yourself there as well, and really unlocking that inner self where you can actually talk to yourself about those things and accept responsibility for the role that you may have played in certain things. And even if you haven't played a role, it's all about I dealt with that emotion by doing this. Maybe I could have dealt with that in this way instead. Okay, so even if people are doing things to us, and you are like the legitimately the victim in the situation, then we're looking at how do we deal with that. All right, so it's really talking about just having a bit of a look to yourself there, about this whole idea of victim consciousness. All right, but that's followed up with the crossroads and then the star. Okay. And I'm just sort of getting in my head there with that star card. I never wished for this. I didn't want this, but you're not taking. So there's one particular Taurus out there that may be watching, where if you have said recently, I didn't. That's not what I wanted. I didn't wish for this at all. But you're not. You may not have wished for this, but you still had a role in this. All right. So you need to actually stop and look at that. So I am sorry to be, confronting, but, that it's a decision. Okay. This is a decision. Every day of our lives, we make decisions, subconsciously. We make every single morning, we make the decision of whether we're going to wake up and be, a good person or not. Oh, is today the day I'm going to jail? I choose not to, so I'm going to be just going to continue doing what I'm doing. Like we all have that ability within us to wake up and choose to just be like, let's go do this or do that, like and ignore your inner values and morals. Okay, so everyone has that choice. It's a subconscious choice we make every single day to just basic things like follow the law. Okay, so we all choose or whatever every single day. But this is kind of, I feel like this is talking about choosing whether you're going to continue being the victim or if you are actually going to stand up and take responsibility for your own self. Okay, so it's really talking about, you know, you really need to choose at the moment, Taurus, whether or not you want to keep living like this, you know, because what we do find is if you continually feeling like everyone does all this to me, why do bad things happen to me, why do bad things happen to me, it perpetuates and the path continues the exact same. Whereas if you consciously choose, I don't want that for my life anymore, I want to change that, I want to stand up, take responsibility for my actions and better myself and better my life, then you'll be on the whole new path towards more happiness. All right, so it's really how we look at it every single day. So it's kind of that vibe I'm getting of, you know, choose to be happy, Taurus. Choose to follow your true wishes and desires, instead of allowing yourself to just perpetuate the same cycles continuously. All right, so we'll get you a affirmation for that one. So affirmation for Taurus when it comes to victim consciousness, please. What does Taurus need to hear in regard to victim consciousness? I can expand time when I am inspired. Okay, so talking about long term, being able to expand, you know, yourself as a whole, and like I sort of did say, you know, choosing that path, you know, that's going to grow your life into more positive aspects instead of, you know, imploding yourself onto that path where you're just continually you know, repeating the same cycles over and over and over again, Taurus. So, you know, find what inspires you. You know, I do feel as though that runs a little bit with that, you know, the heart and lily energy over the other side as well. So, you know, find what inspires you in this world and head towards those things, those true wishes and desires. Head towards those, instead of allowing yourself to repeat negative cycles. Okay, Taurus? So sorry if that was a little bit heavy, guys, but that's what I do have for you today, Taurus. So we'll move over to Gemini. How are we, Gemini? Just doing our shadow work reading today for the full moon energy. Now, this full moon is probably going to affect you guys probably the most, to be completely honest. It may be a rough couple of days for some of the Geminis out there. You know, some big revelations and a big focus on our self-worth and our values as well. Okay, Gemini, that full moon is in opposition to your sign. So we'll see what's coming out for you guys anyway with the shadow work this month. So Gemini, shadow work for Gemini, please. Okay, I just had a similar, I just had the same card for Taurus. So if you do have strong placements in Taurus, that may be relevant, or if you're on the cusp, that may be relevant to you as well, that Taurus one. But we do have this self-love card coming out there, okay? So, you know, elements of loving yourself coming to the forefront. Like I said, that looking at your values and your self-worth this month, with this full moon energy. Okay. The other one we do have is the hole in the soul. Okay. So that's quite a rough energy there, Gemini. You know, that lack mental, that feeling of lack within ourselves. You know, that what is it that is, you know, do you feel like you're missing in yourself, in your life? You know, so that can be a rough energy, but we'll see what comes out with the Lenormand. Okay, so I'll draw 3 cards for each. So Gemini for self-love shadow work, please. Gemini for self-love shadow work. Okay, and Gemini for hole in the soul. Gemini for hole in the soul. Deeply spiritual. I'm getting a very spiritual vibe with that as well. Okay, so definitely some deeper things coming out for us with that. So for the self-love element here, we do have firstly the moon energy coming out. So you know, it is the full moon as well. So it's gonna, like I said, it may be a rough time for you guys, Gemini. That the moon comes in regard to following your intuition when it comes to loving yourself. You know, not listening to the little voice, but following your actual intuition when it comes to your self-love. It is a very emotional card, very sensitive emotions. You know, so there may be quite a few sensitive emotions we're running around with at the moment when it comes to that self-love. Okay, Gemini. So, you know, I do understand it's Gemini season as well. So it can be quite a hard season for a lot of people with, you know, your birthday happening and all those sorts of things as well. You know, but really looking at the things that do make us sort of feel emotionally vulnerable, and the things that do make us emotionally sensitive, and looking at those and looking at how we can actually bring more love into ourselves when it comes to those things. All right. That's followed up with the ring card there. Okay, so I'm definitely feeling that for quite a lot of the Geminis, you know, the self-love element may be looking directly at the relationships you've had within your life. You know, not just your love relationships, but also relationships with friends, family, those kinds of things. I am hearing mother. So for quite a lot of you, this may be talking about, you know, the way that you have been, you know, raised, you know, to love yourself. Okay, and if that element was missing when you were a child, like that element of that like that loving relationship that is quite supportive and whatnot, you know, looking at how you can gain that once again for yourself, and find that self-love if it's something that you were never sort of taught how to do. Okay, so I know that is not going to resonate for everybody, but I am strongly getting that vibe of, you know, a mother's love, that relationship with your mother being quite important. So, you know, for those Geminis out there who are emotionally struggling with, you know, self-love, and there may be some elements you need to look at with the way that you were sort of shown how to love yourself. Like, how does your mother look after herself, and how, you know, I do understand not everyone has a mother. I'm not in contact with my own. So for me, I would be looking at, you know, the elements of not having that mother element, you know, in my life to sort of help me learn how to actually love myself. Where can I find that, rather than, you know, where can I find that within myself, without having, you know, that a mother figure to teach me those things, to teach me how to cherish myself and love myself. So I feel as though that's quite strong for a few of the Geminis out there, that there may be some emotional sensitivities around your mother type relationship, you know, and having that element going through. Now, I did a few weeks ago. I did do a feminine reading. Okay, so I'm kind of getting the vibe. Maybe you guys, you know, if that's ringing sort of true for you, Gemini, maybe look back onto that reading. It was the feminine, the Mother's Day reading. Okay, so if you want to look back into that a little bit deeper, there may be some elements coming through in that reading that are important to you as well. But we do have the ruins coming through as well. So I do feel as though this is quite linked up with that hole in the soul card that we have got here as well. You know, it's really looking at, you know, you've fallen into a state of disrepair when it comes to your self-care, and that ability to just love yourself. You know, looking at yourself at the moment like, you know, you're in an abandoned building, okay, and needing to actually stop and look at yourself as like, what can I do to rebuild these foundation stronger? How can I bring it out of disrepair and really start loving myself once again? Okay, so I feel like self-love, self-worth is actually hugely important to you guys at the moment. And you know, there definitely for a lot of you could be some element to do with, you know, the way that you were shown love in the past from people. You know, if someone tells you something a million times, you start to believe it. Okay, so maybe focusing on telling yourself some positive things about yourself so that you can start to believe those instead. Okay, you know, and really just sitting down with yourself and working out why you feel that way about yourself. You know, why do you feel like that is, you know, it feels disrepair. I'm getting quite a lot of that disrepair coming through with that ruins card. You know, like I keep picturing like a factory that's just totally empty, and you know, leaves blowing through it and things like that, and someone coming in and being like, oh, we need to fix up that wall, we need to patch that hole in the ceiling, you know, all those sorts of things. So if that helps you, Gemini, maybe look at yourself like, you know, as you would with anything else in this world. Okay, like you know, a lot of people out there that they're, you know, fixing up old homes is actually a really big popular. The restoration stuff is actually hugely popular at the moment. So you know, maybe looking at yourself as though you're something that needs to be restored. Your inner self is something that needs to be restored, and how do we go about you know, patching up that hole in the ceiling, and you know, what else needs work done, and how do we get the plumber to come fix this, you know, those kinds of things. So if it helps you to, you know, compare yourself to a building or something that needs restoration, I feel as though that might actually help a couple of the Geminis out there in the collective. So quite an odd sort of image I'm getting there, but yeah, there you go. I feel like that probably is going to actually help somebody. So, you know, let me know in the comments, guys. But when it comes to that hole in the soul, we do have here the Tower, which is followed by the Sun. So you can kind of get the vibe there that the Sun really does talk about, you know, revealing things, things coming to light. Okay, and so you can kind of see with this Tower card here, it's actually a lighthouse, this one. So there's that shining that light on something. Okay, so I really feel as though there's going to be some big revelations for you this month when it comes to you know, that was followed up with the Mirror card there. Okay, so some personal revelations about, you know, what it is in your life that you do need to shine a light on in order to find happiness. What foundations have you built in your life that you need to shine a light on? Hang on, maybe there's something wrong with the brickwork. Going back to that again, but you know, it's really kind of, I'm getting that vibe that there's you know, a foundational block missing, you know, somewhere in the way that you have set up yourself and your love for yourself. I feel as though there is you know, something, you know, a foundation that you just haven't built yet, you know, that is going to hold you strong and help shine the light on all these things for you. And so it's sort of really shining the light on you know, the things within you that you want to fix and you want to change, and you don't want to feel as though you've got this empty space within your soul anymore, that you want to actually feel full and happy again. You know, that the sun is full and warm and happy. So you know, shining the light on the things that you are missing within your life at the moment, and how can we sort of find them again. Now, like I said, that other card I got for you was the Mirror. So it really is talking about looking yourself in the mirror and facing these things, and, you know, shining the light on these things and facing them and looking at those darker aspects within yourself. And, you know, even if you can't forgive those things within yourself, accepting them as part of who you are, and you know, really working out where to now. Okay, so if I look in the mirror and I see this and this and this, you know, I'm talking about, you know, within yourself, not physical. Okay, but if you look in the mirror and you see this and this and this within yourself, but what do I want to look in the mirror and see? do I want to look in the mirror and see someone who loves their family, who loves their friends, who does a lot of things for other people out of the goodness of their heart? Do I want to see or do I want to see someone in disrepair that doesn't care about their relationships, who doesn't, who doesn't care about maintaining themselves, their relationships? It's really facing yourself and facing those deeper sides of yourself and accepting and trying to forgive those aspects within yourself, okay? But we'll see what's coming out for your affirmations there. Affirmations for Gemini for self-love, please. Affirmations for Gemini. Okay, and one more. Affirmations for Gemini. Affirmations for Gemini. Okay, so for the self-love portion, we do have this card here, which does say, guidance is available to me now. I know that angels, ancestors, and spirit guides are always at hand. I do not walk alone. Okay, so maybe needing to rely on your sense of spirituality, your beliefs, having some faith in yourself, as well, knowing that there's people out there that will love and support you in your journey, all right? Now, for the hole in the soul, we do have this card here, which says, my genuine desire to serve clears the path for me to step into my purpose. So, I feel like I just said something similar when I was talking about looking into the mirror, that if you, do you want to give to other people, and, looking at those aspects within yourself, but that allowing you to step into your true purpose, okay? So that's what I have for you today, Gemini. I hope that helped, but like I do say I am sorry if I am being a little bit confronting with the shadow work readings. Shadow work is all about confronting those deeper sides of ourselves and using them to, get ourselves to where we actually want to be in this world. Okay. But I'll move over to Cancer. How are we, Cancer? Just doing our shadow work today. So Cancer, shadow work for Cancer, please. Okay, so Cancer, first we have for you the inner child card. Okay, so maybe needing to find our inner child and bring a bit more playfulness and joy into our world. We do also have the courage card. Okay, so Aries got courage as well. So if you have some strong Aries placements, that may be relevant as well. But really taking the courage to, put into action the things that we really truly want, and having the courage to open up and express that inner child could be quite important as well. All right, so Cancer and inner child for their shadow work, please. Okay, and courage for Cancer, please. Courage for Cancer. Ooh. I think I just cut myself on those cards, Cancer. Definitely seeing a little bit of crossover here, Cancer. So those two things may be, somehow related for you there. And quite interesting, while I was shuffling before, I did have this card pop out, but because I hadn't directly asked for the next set of cards yet, I put it back in the deck. But then it's come out first and flown out for that courage as well. So quite interesting how they, if a card wants to come out, it will definitely come out. Okay, so when it comes to your inner child, Cancer, we do have the book, followed by the sun and the masculine. Okay, the animus there, masculine energy. So straight away with the book, okay, we are sort of looking at, with our inner child, really opening up to that inner child. So it's kind of feeling like, maybe even looking back into the past when you were a child, and the things that, when you, I kind of want to say, when you were a child, how did you want your life to look now? Okay, so looking back at that from that innocence of childhood, if you saw the person you were today, what would you say to yourself? And would you be happy with the life that you have? And what would you tell yourself to change? Really asking that inner child voice to sort of come on through and let us know, like, is this the life you envisioned for yourself? When you were a child, is this the story that you wanted written for your story? Okay, so the book is all about, the next chapters in your life, the story that we've been written. But I do feel as though there's a strong element of the story so far. Like, there's probably a lot that's happened in your life that, you never thought would be a part of your story, but it is. So looking back and taking that child's innocence and to look at that book and, see what a child would tell you to do next or whatnot. I feel as though that inner child, that sense of adventure to the world, that what would they want to see next in your story? And now that was followed by the Sun card. So definitely that element of happiness and playfulness coming through, quite strong. Okay, so with the Sun, that's all about, that warmth and happiness. Okay, so it's really, getting out there on a sunny day and letting that inner child fly, going on the swings. If don't hold back. We do see the courage card as well. So if there's something that you always wanted to do as a child, maybe now's the time to sort of, get out there and start thinking about doing those things, like, and even just little things like, if you were a child and you loved going on the swings, maybe that sense of freedom is, have the courage to just go to a park and swing your life away. Sorry, Cancer. Oh, I get all excited to go on the swings and and it sets off my sinus issues. Sorry about that. I just grabbed a lozenge. I should be okay, I hope. But yeah, really getting out. I feel like it's getting out there in the sun and, enjoying yourself, and bringing that inner child out to play kind of thing. And then we do have the masculine energy coming through as well. So I do feel as though that's actually talking about, bringing in a bit more of a sense of logic and, like, look, I feel like we're kind of talking about that character in that story. Okay, so there may be a male, like, the masculine can talk about a few different things. Usually it can talk about, you yourself being, if you have been feeling like you've been quite non-emotional or logical, and sort of in that mind space rather than, being in a nurturing emotional mind space. But I'm actually feeling that this, for a lot of you, Cancer, this may actually be, somebody who has been a part of your story. All right. And looking at, like, I'm feeling that this is somebody from your childhood. Okay, so this may be a father figure, and looking at how they've influenced your sense of inner child and happiness. Okay, like, were you one of those children that, grew up very, very quickly and missed out on a lot of childhood stuff? I feel as though this is actually talking about somebody from your past here, and, looking to them, what role did they play in your inner child's development? Okay, have they held you back in some ways, from fully developing that sense of happiness, in this life? Have they, like, I do feel as though that's important, and it's, even though the masculine energy quite a lot of the time is about, that logical side of things and that non-emotional side of things, I think that it's actually trying to tell us that it's okay to be emotional and to, you know, nurture yourself, you know, in a logical manner. You can still nurture yourself. I feel it's talking a bit more about that balance, okay, and balancing the logical side of yourself with the emotional side of yourself. So, you know, head and heart in sync, rather than, you know, just always being stuck in this headspace, so to speak. Remembering to, you know, allow yourself to go into that inner child mode there. And it could also be, for some of you, I'm feeling that because we've got the courage card there as well, for some of you, this may have been somebody that you looked up to as a child. It may not even be anyone that was actually in your life. It may have just been somebody that you looked up to, like a, you know, a famous person, that you looked up to as a child. And what was it about that person that made you, you know, value that person, made you look like, idolize that person as a child? Like, yeah, I'm feeling the childhood is quite important for you guys at the moment, though, because with that courage card, we do have that scythe that jumped on out, but also the child card coming through there, and then the lily as well. Okay, so with the first card, that, like I said, it did jump out as well. So and it was sort of making itself very known, this card. So it's kind of talking about, with that courage, making sudden, unexpected changes, toward, you know, taking action in courage, being brave, you know, facing your fears. Okay, so there's definitely some big changes that you need to make in regard to, your courage and your bravery, just towards life. It doesn't mean you have to go out there and fight monsters or anything like that. You know, it's just the way that we step outside every single day. You know, do we bravely take on any challenge? Do we, you know, are we, looking at the world with wonder rather than, you know, oh, so jaded, you know? But it's definitely letting us know that there does need to be some big change, when it comes to your courage. Okay, and I do feel as though, once again, we've got that child coming out. So I do feel as though, you know, the change is going to bring more of that childhood, that childlike wonder into your world. And like, I feel too that once I've got that the emotions coming through again too. So it's kind of like, you know, maybe having the courage to open up to people and be a little bit more vulnerable with people, rather than being in this heavy, logical mindset all the time. Opening up to people a little bit more, and, being quite emotionally vulnerable, making long-term changes within yourself, when it comes to, you know, facing your fears, and being a little bit more courageous just within yourself. All right, because the lily does talk about the long-term stuff. It does also talk about that emotional intimacy as well. So really, I feel as though, you know, children aren't afraid to, you know, tell you how they feel. You know, a child will straight away come up to you and say, "I'm so angry. You took my toy away. I'm so cranky at you. I hate you, mum." Oh, maybe that's just my child, but but you know, a child has no fear in telling you how they feel. You know, so maybe needing to act a little bit more like that when it comes to your emotions as well. Okay, and not having that, not allowing that fear to stop you from expressing yourself and expressing your true emotions, and being quite intimate with yourself about what those emotions are. Okay, it can take a lot of courage to step past those sorts of fears, you know, but that's probably why we are seeing that courage card coming through. But we'll grab you some affirmations as well, Cancer. Okay, inner child and Cancer, please. Okay, and courage for Cancer, please. Okay, so we are seeing for, the inner child, this beautiful card here. It does see, I see grace and possibility in all of life's challenges. So yeah, definitely looking at even challenges, looking at them with that child's eyes, and seeing the grace and the possibility rather than the challenge. Okay, because you know, if a child walks into a room and they see you know, a locked door, that's not a challenge to them. That's a possibility, or there could be a whole fancy world behind that door. You know what I mean? So it kind of like that kind of a vibe. You know, looking at things with the possibility of what they may hide rather than just seeing the challenge that they present. Okay. And then when it comes to courage, we have this card here. I can't control the world, but I can control how I choose to perceive it. Okay, so having the courage to look at things in a new way, and like I keep coming back to that, looking at things with that child's view, with that innocence of childhood, and you know, the possibility of childhood, you know, so that adventure too. Like I said, every locked door is an adventure for a child, right? It's not a challenge at all. It's an adventure. Okay. So that's what I've got for you, Cancer. Let me know in the comments how that resonated for you guys. So we'll move over to Leo. How are we today, Leo? Just making sure I've got the right timestamp there for us. But we're doing shadow work for Leo. Shadow work for Leo, please. Oh, that second one doesn't want to come out. Shadow work for Leo, please. Okay, so firstly, we do have self-sabotage, Leo. So that's all about, you know, looking at the ways that you may be holding yourself back, sabotaging yourself, you know, doing things out of fear, and that's actually creating more problems for you. You know, we also have the cycles card coming through as well. Sorry. So looking at, you know, like the cycles that we have found ourselves in, like, and I feel like they're probably very linked as well. Like, do we consciously, like, do we continuously fall into this pattern of self-sabotage? And you know, when people get too close, do we automatically push them away? That kind of a vibe, like push them away before they can hurt you, kind of a vibe. Scared of being hurt, so you just push everyone away. But that's sort of not serving you, is it? Sorry about that, Leo. Just had to pause and grab a drink so I don't cough. I've got some sinus issues going on, and it's the start of winter here in Australia, so it's not the best for someone with sinus issues. But we'll have a look for you with the lenormand and see what's going on. So self-sabotage for Leo, please. Self-sabotage for Leo. Okay, and cycles for Leo. Cycles for Leo's shadow work, please. Okay. All right. So what I'm kind of seeing here, when it comes to the self-sabotage, is we're setting ourselves up for failure with something in particular. Leo, Leo. So, I'm having a day. You know, we do have the lily first, so that does talk about long-term stuff. Okay, so if you continue to self-sabotage yourself, you're going to miss out on certain opportunities in your life that, you know, could have really good long-term potential. So, you know, I feel like this is probably for a lot of you talking about, you know, relationship stuff. But, you know, just in general, the more that you self-sabotage yourself, and you know, allow fear to hold you back from the things that you do truly want, it is actually going to have a long-term effect. So needing to really rectify those situations, you know, so that they don't have a long-term effect on your life. Okay. You know, you don't want this to be like a long-standing that's just how you are, kind of thing. Because do you want to still be sabotaging those same opportunities, 10 years from now, 20 years from now? If you were offered the same opportunity, would you still find a way to sabotage that, in 20 years time? You don't want that for your path, of course. But there is also that emotional intimacy with the lily as well. So it really is sort of looking at the emotional reasons that you are doing these things. Okay, so there is some sort of underlying emotional thing going on that's making you afraid of these things. And we are also seeing here the bear and then the child. Okay, so with the bear, it really does talk about you being a little bit overprotective, possibly defensive. The bear is quite a strong, powerful card. It is one of the cards I do associate with Leo. So normally Leo, you can be quite strong and powerful, and you could command everyone in the room, but you're forgetting that strength for yourself. I feel with this self-sabotage, you're kind of being a little bit over defensive and holding yourself too closely within yourself, and not actually being a little bit more open and vulnerable with those around you. I feel with that bear, it's fine to be protective, and it's fine to want to protect yourself, but to what extent? Okay, like, are you protecting yourself unreasonably? With maybe sometimes you should actually just sort of wait and see how things play out before you sort of rear up and be this big bear energy of protective, like, I've got to protect myself before they hurt me, sort of a vibe. Sometimes when we do get hurt, yes, it sucks, but it does actually really help us learn how to avoid getting hurt in the future, and sort of learn the difference between, hang on, when we do need to step up and put that boundary in place, and when we do sometimes need to be a little bit more emotionally vulnerable, coming through there with that lily and the bear. I do feel as though we're talking about the need to be a little bit more emotionally vulnerable with yourself, as well as the people that you do care about. All right, and then with the child, we do find that the child is talking all about looking at the world through a child's eyes, kind of thing. So looking back at how you were as a child, and like, I just use this same example for Cancer there, because they did get the child card as well. But when a child walks into a room and they see a closed door, they don't see it as something they need to protect themselves against. They're not fearful of what's going to come through the door. They're excited. They see it as an opportunity, as a possibility. There could be like a whole magical world behind that door. So it's kind of talking about letting yourself see the possibilities rather than the challenges. Seeing the positive possibilities rather than always just jumping to that, I need to protect myself from the possible negative outcomes. It's actually stopping and looking at having that innocence and that sense of joy and wonderment at the world of there is all this possibility, and it's not always just negative possibility. You need to take on board the positive possibilities as well. All right. And then when it comes to cycles, this is kind of a harder energy here, Leo, because we do firstly have the Ruins card, followed by the Whip card, okay, and the Birds card as well. All right, so I feel as though this is talking about a specific cycle that you may have been through, a cycle that kind of has left you feeling in ruin and abandoned and total disrepair. A lot of trouble and tension and drama and challenges. With that Whip card, a lot of beating yourself up as well, about this situation, this cycle that you've been through in your life. Um, you know, I feel as though what that's actually talking about with the birds here, it's kind of just letting us know that, there is a specific cycle that you've either been through or you are stuck in, so to speak, you know, that's causing you a lot of trouble and causing you to feel like you're, you know, a sense of ruin within yourself, a sense of abandonment, those kinds of things coming through with that ruin card there. But the birds is talking about, you know, that mourning period, that loss, that the grief that is associated with all this. Okay, so this cycle it may be a relationship for some of you. I am getting with the cycles card, sometimes it can reflect, you know, the ring energy, which can talk about relationships as well. But I feel as though you're not giving yourself the space to mourn all this trouble and all these feelings within you, and actually grieving the loss of that cycle. You know, this may be a cycle that you had no choice in it being removed from your life, but it's kind of just letting us know that you do actually need to take the time to mourn that and grieve that. So, you know, negative things that have happened for you, Leo, like actually taking the time to, you know, grieve loss and the things that you have lost in this world, the things that fell to ruin, that fell to just trouble. Instead of beating yourself up about them, grieve them. That, you know, I've lost this. You know, grieving is one of the stages of, you know, acceptance, and then forgiveness for the cycle that you may have been stuck in for a while. Like, you know, once again, I really am feeling that this may be talking specifically about a specific relationship that you've lost, or that has broken down, or has just had too much drama or trouble, conflict in that situation, and really actually needing to just take the time to mourn the loss of that and accept that that is no longer part of your cycle, and you can now actually start new cycles and move into more positive cycles that will not, like, don't necessarily have to have that same sense of grief attached to them. Okay, but I'll grab you some affirmation cards for those as well. Affirmations for Leo with their shadow work, please. Okay, so as we saw with that that bear card, that, like I was talking about, that defense mode activated kind of vibe there, we do have this card here which does say, I release my need to be right. I am defenseless and at peace. Okay, so you know, just going with the flow a little bit more, taking the peaceful moments and releasing the need to be defensive and be right about everything being negative. Okay, so even if you feel that this is going to end up like this, it's going to be horrible, release that need to have it work out that way. Okay, and just allow yourself to be defenseless, and allow it to happen how it's going to happen, regardless of whether you end up being right or not. Okay, so it's a bit of a can be a bit of a hard one to deal with, that one. But this one as well, I am in sync with the flow of life. Okay, so you know, I feel as though with that grieving period, you know, just being in sync with that period, that's part of the cycle of life, right? You know, to have to go through some more negative things, and to grieve the loss of things and deal with things. You know, it's just part of the flow of life. So, you know, you being in that period is you being in sync with that. All right, so just going with the flow a little bit more, I feel, Leo, and taking things as they come, and you know, rather than defending against them, and self-sabotaging, you know, against all these things that could potentially happen, you know, starting new cycles where you're actually, you know, open to whatever, you know, come whatever may. All right. So that's what I have for you today, Leo. Let me know in the comments if that resonated for you guys. But I will move on to Virgo. How are we, Virgo? Just looking today at our shadow work for the full moon. Now, Virgo, you guys probably are going to be one of the signs a little bit more affected this full moon. So it does sort of talk about values of, your value system, self-worth as well. Okay, so those things may be at the forefront for you at the moment, Virgo. Lots of revelations this full moon, though. So you may be sort of revealing some things to yourself that you didn't even realize about yourself. All right, so Virgo, shadow work for Virgo, please. Okay, this first card I did actually just have for Leo. So if you're on the cusp, that Leo reading may be important to you as well. Or if you do have heavy Leo placements, okay? But we do have the self-sabotage card coming out for you there. So that does talk about, the ways that we are, dealing with fear of things that may happen, and possibly sabotaging ourselves. So, ending things before they can end by themselves. Okay, so self-sabotage for you guys there. We do also have the sexuality card coming out for you, Virgo. So that's going to mean a few different things for, different people in the collective. I feel like for most of you, that's going to be talking about embracing your sexuality and your sexual side a little bit more, and allowing yourself to express your self when it comes to your body and your sexuality. Okay, so no matter what your sexuality is, it's that sexuality is also about sensuality and having that within yourself. Okay, and just having that comfort within yourself of knowing who you are, and you're happy with the way that you are, no matter what your sexuality, no matter how you express your sexuality, whether you're someone who is, overtly sexual, or whether you're someone who sort of, shies away from all that sort of stuff. I feel as we're probably looking at just embracing that one way or the other. Okay, we'll have a look here. Self-sabotage for Virgo, please. Self-sabotage for Virgo. And sexuality for Virgo, please. Okay. Going to be one of those conundrum readings for me today, Virgo. When it comes to the self-sabotage elements, okay, we do firstly have the rose coming out, okay, so that's very, very similar to the flowers energy, all right, but sorry. What it kind of tells me is that, when you are giving to things and you're receiving, so, the flowers is all about giving, and that giving energy, giving, love, giving affection, all those sorts of things. But when it does come to the rose card, a rose has thorns, okay? So I feel as though that's what's going on with the self-sabotage, is like, you're trying to give to all these things and give to all these things, but you're too focused on the thorns. You're trying to pick roses to give to somebody, but you keep feeling as though you keep getting stabbed with the thorns, and you're focusing on grabbing the thorns instead of looking at the rose itself, and that beautiful giving energy. Sometimes when we give, we do get that bite come through as well. Unfortunately, that's just the part and parcel of life, is that sometimes when we do try to give this beautiful rose to somebody, we are struck by the thorns at the same time. Sometimes when we give, we do not receive. So I feel as though you may be actually self-sabotaging when it comes to those sorts of things by not giving that beautiful rose, and only only just grabbing the thorns over and over and over, rather than just giving and giving and giving, without hope without expectation as well. I do feel, with that rose, it's just kind of a bit of a reminder that, to give to yourself as well, okay? Because, a lot of people are aware there is certain ways you can pick a rose without getting the thorns, okay? So, that when it comes to self-sabotage, I do feel as though, you're focusing on the thorns rather than the roses. So rather than giving and receiving, you're focusing on what you're missing out on. So focusing on the negatives rather than the positives. So sabotaging yourself in the sense of, I'm not going to give to this, because if I give to this, it's just going to end like this and this and this. So you, without actually letting it follow its path, okay? Kind of ending things before they've even begun, because you're just worried about that ending being horrible, worried about getting hurt. So, worried about getting hurt, so you're not willing to give it all. So I just feel like that's what's coming through for that rose and the self-sabotage there. We do also have the fox energy coming through with that there. So the fox energy is all about, it can be about quite a few things. It's about survival quite a lot, and independence as well. So I feel as though this is what energy we're sort of currently in, that fox energy, where we're I'm getting that vibe of expectations, that you're giving with the expectation that you're only going to give if it works out the way that you want it to. So if you're not sure if it's going to work out the way that you want it to, you're not giving to that at all. Because with the fox energy, the fox is quite clever and cunning and can be a little bit of a trickster, so it really is that energy of you're trying to be really clever about the way that you're doing things, but it's actually holding you back from doing things the way that you just want to or need to. I feel as though you're holding yourself back quite a lot and trying to be quite clever about the way you're doing things, but it's actually a bit of a trickster to you yourself. And it's leaving you stuck in this independence and not relying on anyone else, and just sabotaging yourself in the long run. That fox energy can be quite hard when it comes to that sort of a thing, because it's really, it's I can't find the words to explain what I'm kind of getting there, but it's yeah, I've lost it. But it's just that when it comes to self sabotage, it's that energy of you think you're being really clever by not giving in the first place, because you think that if I don't give, well, I can't be hurt. But that's not always the case. If you can't give, you can't receive either. Okay, so I just feel as though it's a bit of a warning, just to let things follow their path, rather than trying to be clever and manage everything out under your control and under your expectations. Sometimes in life, we enter into things that we they're not going to meet our expectations. They're not going to result in the way that we would like them to. But sometimes it's more about the journey of getting to that result, getting to that outcome, is where you learn the lessons or whatever. And if you're not allowing yourself to even start that journey, you're actually hurting yourself more in the long run. Okay, and then that was followed up with one of our jokers. So we have the void here. Okay, so I feel as though it's kind of just talking about, if you continue to self-sabotage, you are heading into this void where you're just going to be like, it's going to be like a black hole where it's going to suck in all your energy anyway, and you're going to get dragged into these things without having any choice or independence in these things. So maybe you do actually need to start giving, just so that you don't actually get sucked away without and having those choices and expectations taken from you. I do feel as though that void, it can be quite, like that black hole kind of a vibe, and self-sabotage is kind of a black hole. Like the more that you're self-sabotaging, the more that you're getting yourself dragged into that black hole within yourself, and you're not actually going to be experiencing all the light in the world. You're just going to be seeing the darkness, the darkness, the darkness. You're not actually going to be able to see any of the light shining through. Okay, so I think it's just a little bit of a warning to you there, Virgo, that you really do need to actually start giving to things a little bit more, and not allowing yourself to sabotage those things out of fear. All right. And then when it comes to sexuality here, we do have the dog card. So that's really just talking about, having compassion for yourself, being loyal to the way that you do express yourself, and express your, your sense of self. The sexuality card is very physical. Okay, so we do sort of see that with the dog, it's being loyal to you, no matter what, no matter how you express that. Be loyal to that. Like if you're a person that doesn't like to dress provocatively, don't. Stay loyal to yourself, and don't give in because that's in fashion at the moment or anything like that. It's talking about staying loyal to yourself, and quite compassionate as well. Don't feel as though you have to do anything because that's the thing or whatever that everyone's doing. It's not. It's really not. It's yourself. Okay, and we do have the Mountain card coming out there as well. So the Mountain card does, it can talk about delays or some challenges that you may be facing when it comes to your sexuality and your expression. I feel as though we're talking probably a lot more about self-expression, and the way that you sort of just come across to other people. So there can be some sort of delays and challenges, but do you know what? Even if it feels like that, because I'm feeling for a lot of the Virgos out here, what I'm actually getting is that for quite a few of you, we're probably looking at someone who kind of is that example that they would not dress provocatively just because, but I'm feeling that you're feeling a bit challenged by that because, yeah, there may be some pressure to, follow the fashion or whatever that challenge is for you in specific there. But it's kind of letting us know that, do you know what, even if it may feel like a challenge to be yourself and express yourself the way that you want to, at the end of the day it is an opportunity as well, to get to that achievement at the top of the mountain. All right, because sometimes things do take a little bit more hard work, but you still actually will get to the top of that mountain. Okay, so it's just talking about perseverance when it comes to that loyalty within yourself, having that perseverance to just keep on climbing that mountain, even if it's a mountain that nobody else understands. When it comes to your sexuality, your physical expression, even if nobody else understands that, persevere, be loyal to yourself, and it will all be fine. Okay, so I'll grab you some of the affirmation cards here with the Spirit Junkie deck as well. So Virgo and their shadow work, please. Virgo and their shadow work, please. Okay, so Virgo, for you, we do have this card here, which says, I send a prayer of love to all beings in need of a miracle. Okay, so I feel like that's talking about that self-sabotage, opening yourself up a little bit more, sending that love, making your love a little bit more available to not only, others, but yourself as well, Virgo. All right, and then we do have this card here which says, my productivity stems from inspiration. When I focus on what brings me joy, my tasks become effortless actions. Okay, so that, I think that's referencing that Mountain card there. So, if you're having fun and loyal to yourself, that perseverance becomes effortless, and it just becomes a part of your normal. There we go. So that's what I have for you today, Virgo. Let me know if that resonated for you or not. Okay, so moving on to Libra, just making sure I've got those timestamps for us there. And just looking today at shadow work. Okay, so shadow work for Libra, please. Shadow work for Libra, please. Okay, Libra. Firstly, we do have help from above. Okay, that's a very interesting shadow work card to be getting, Libra. You know, the help from above, because I feel as though this is talking about, you know, starting to needing to manifest some things and asking for help from the universe or from God, whatever you believe in, asking for help, you know, from above, literally to you know, help guide you at this time, help you, you know, manifest the things that you do really want. Okay, but we'll get a few lenormand on that as well. But secondly, we do have family and tribe. Okay, so obviously not always just your physical family, that can talk about, you know, your soul tribe kind of a thing. It's a very interesting card, so that may be something we're needing to deal with, some issues around family, friends, you know, our sense of belonging in this world at the moment. Yeah, so just give me a second. I just do need to pause for a phone call. Sorry about that, Libra. I do have, you know, I'm not a monetized channel, so I am kind of just relying on my own devices at this time. So, you know, unfortunately, if I do have an important call or something like that come through, I do need to pause the recordings or whatnot. Okay, so I'm sorry about that. But yeah, as we saw, we do have that help from above oracle, as well as the family and tribe. So I'll grab some lenormand to see what those are all about for us there. So help from above for Libra, please. Whoa, got one flying out already. Okay, help from above for Libra. Oh, beautiful. Okay, and family and tribe. Why is family and tribe important for Libra shadow work, please? Why is family and tribe important for Libra shadow work, please? Okay. All right, so Libra, when it comes to the help from above oracle that we saw there, I do have here the garden card. Okay, so the garden is all about like social stuff. So it's kind of leading me to believe that there may be some sort of help that you can sort of ask for from a social area as well, like a social aspect of your life. So sometimes that can talk about like social media. So like you may have some sort of community that you're involved with on social media that you may be able to sort of talk to at this time to get some extra help, as well as, you know, friends and family, as we see with that family and tribe. Obviously, you know, if we are having issues with certain family or tribe members there, rely, you know, who you can rely on in your life, of course. But we are also seeing the lily and the heart as well. Okay, so definitely surrounded by a lot of love at this time, quite protected with that heart coming through, but also, you know, that from within yourself as well. All right, that help from above can also talk about help from within here, you know, within your heart space, and having that love for yourself to really you know, find out what it is that you do need a bit of extra help with, and being able to be vulnerable and ask for that as well. Because with the lily, we do see, you know, it can talk about emotional vulnerability and that emotional intimacy that you do have with yourself, you know, with your spirit guides, whoever it is, whatever it is that you believe in, having that real sense of intimacy on a spiritual connection level as well, and relying on that faith within yourself to really receive guidance and trust in those things, you know, coming into fruition for you. So I do feel a big spiritual element coming through for you there with all that, you know, and really needing to sort of, you know, trust yourself, trust your heart. What is it that you really love in this world? And, you know, the things that make you feel loved in this world, and relying on those support systems that are around you as well. All right. When it does come to family and tribe, we do have a bit of an interesting one here. Firstly, we do have the cross, which is followed by the anchor. And now you can see that both of those cards there do have this strong like chain symbology here. So with the cross, I do feel as though there's some sort of burden, a cross that you bear when it comes to, you know, a family member or someone within your tribe, even just that sense of belonging that you feel within yourself. You know, there is some sort of something, you know, restraint, some sort of burden, something holding you down a little bit when it comes to, you know, your sense of belonging within your support groups, within your family, within your tribe. Okay, the anchor does talk about, you know, staying securely in one spot. So even though it may be quite secure, but it's just that sense of belonging, I feel quite important for you there. You know, and it may be feeling like you're a bit weighed down. There may be something going on within your family, or friends or whatever, that is sort of leaving you feeling a little bit burdened by that, or weighed down by that, like it's holding you in place, and you're a bit stuck, not quite feeling that you belong in that sense of being able to be open and, you know, shift with the tides, you know. The anchor holds you in place. It doesn't allow much growth or change or movement. So it may be kind of, I'm kind of feeling that for a lot of you, it's that dynamic where, you know, within your family dynamic or your friends dynamic, that, you know, there's not much room for growth. There's not much movement happening there. You know, there's not much flexibility within your role within those groups. Okay, so you may, you know, have a certain role and you're feeling a bit stuck in that role, and you want to sort of maybe branch out and be a different type of friend or family member, you know, and have a bit more of a different experience when it comes to love within your tribe. You know, and I do feel as though that's leaving us a felt. This is the ruins card there. So I'm feeling like a strong sense of abandonment coming through from that as well. So this is just something that we need to sort of look at within ourselves, and why we're feeling these ways. And once again, going straight back to that help from above, asking for help. You know, it may be external to you, you know, and really asking for that love, because, you know, with the heart coming out with that help from above, even if that's just from an esoteric love, you know, that love is definitely there for you. So relying on that love and that support a little bit more, you know, being quite emotionally vulnerable with yourself at this time, and working out what it is that is making you feel burdened, or making you feel like you have been a little bit abandoned, or you don't belong. All right, so it's kind of just telling us to look at those issues within yourself, Libra. But I'll grab some affirmation cards for you. Libra, affirmation for Libra with their shadow work, please. Like we're seeing some pretty good affirmation with that help from above as well. Okay, so yeah, so here we go. Instead of taking on the fear of others, I reflect love. Okay, so, you know, reflecting love, being loving towards the people that you do care about, rather than taking on their fears. Okay, and we do also have here the difficult relationships in my life are the perfect mirror for me to look more closely at my own behavior. Okay, so if there is difficult relationships within your life, it's kind of letting us know why do we feel like that relationship is a burden? Do we need that relationship? But also to look at how we're dealing with that within ourselves as well, okay? When it's talking about mirroring our own behavior, a lot of the time that talks about with, how you deal with that. So when someone does this, what do you do? Do you react in a way that may not be conducive to the situation, or do we react in a loving manner like we saw that other card there? Okay, so sorry for the interruption once again, Libra, but leave me a comment and let me know if that resonated with you guys. But we'll move over to Scorpio. How are we, Scorpio? Just doing our shadow work reading today for the full moon energy. So we're looking for Scorpio. Shadow work for Scorpio, please. Okay, so firstly we have the hole in the soul card coming out for you, Scorpio. So that's a bit of a rough energy, that one. It does sort of talk about something within us, making us feel a little bit empty, like that we are missing something from our lives, that there's a hole in our soul, something that, we're not complete, I suppose. So it's going to be looking at aspects of what are making us feel incomplete, making us feel as though there is a bit of a hole within us, that we do sort of need to look at that and sort of get to the bottom of that. And we also have for you the have faith card. Okay, so that may be something you've been struggling with, Scorpio, to have that faith that this is all happening for a reason, that that it's all kind of destined, that there is a deeper meaning to the reason that these things have happened in your life or are happening in your life. All right. Okay, so hole in the soul for Scorpio, please. Hole in the soul for Scorpio. Okay, and have faith for Scorpio. That's gorgeous energy coming through, I must say, Scorpio. So the hole in the soul card, firstly, we do have the anima card, the feminine card coming through. Okay, so that's going to be talking about aspects of emotional aspects within us. That's followed up with the house energy. Okay, so that's a pretty directly talking about emotional stability within ourselves. So there may be something, that is creating this sense of emptiness with us, that's sort of stemming from some sort of emotional instability. All right, not feeling completely secure and stable within ourselves, within our emotions. Okay, so this is something that I may, I would see for a lot of neurodivergent people like myself. There are certain neurodivergencies that are specific to emotional instability. Okay, so I know for me that's a big one with my, I have borderline personality disorder, and I am aware that that's a big, it can be a big issue for people with BPD. All right, so we could actually be looking at something a little bit deeper here, reasons for that empty feeling. So I would automatically suggest, if that's you, and you resonate with that, Scorpio, that that may be something that you might want to talk to a professional about and get a little bit deeper into that, and why you are feeling that hole, that emptiness kind of feeling, and what it is about your emotional stability and security that is leading you to sort of feel a little bit empty at this time. Okay, so it could also be talking, for some of us, could be talking about actual housing issues. Maybe not, but there may be sort of some sort of instability when it comes to housing for some of you. I just thought I'd mention that because I am sort of getting that in the the back there. But I feel that majority of you, this is talking about, that, and also that nurturing side of things as well, like feeling like we missed out on some sort of nurturing. The house can talk about that family aspect as well. All right, so I do feel as though for some of you this is going to be talking about feeling as though you're missing out on like that nurturing family kind of vibe going on there as well. But it's really just sort of talking about getting facing those issues within ourselves, and getting to the nitty-gritty of why we are feeling like that, and why we are a little bit emotionally you know vulnerable when it comes to those issues. All right. Then that was sort of followed up with one of our wild cards, the it's the astral card, this one here. So you can kind of see that this figure here has the third eye wide open. So this astral card really does talk about your own sense of spirituality, and your own abilities as well. Okay, so if you are someone who is aware of your spiritual abilities, really relying on those at this time, following your intuition, and using those sort of abilities to help you fill that void, so to speak. Okay, but I'll just double check in the guidebook here, because sometimes we do find an extra meaning or two that do a couple of keywords that might flag out for you there. So the astral card, it does say your higher mind, the astral plane, another world, passing through mental travel. So yeah, we definitely can be looking at some sort of mental illness for some of us. All right, I'm not saying that's for everyone. That just maybe one or two within the collective where we do need to sort of take into consideration that there may be some sort of mental illness going on. But other than that, we are just sort of looking at that feeling disembodied within our own mental state, but also that spiritual realm, like I said, like astral travel and dimensional drifting and stuff like that. So if you have any of those specific abilities, that now would be a really good time to sort of be using them to find the deeper sides of yourself, to be feeling, finding out what it is about yourself that makes you feel like I kind of want to say that some of you feel like you're not from this dimension. All right, so I'm feeling that sort of that very sort of alien kind of vibe coming from that there. So it's kind of feeling as though you don't fit in with this world, kind of a vibe coming through, and that's sort of left you feeling like there is something missing, and you're just searching for those answers, I kind of find. All right, but what we're also seeing here, with that have faith card that we drew for you there, I have actually drawn the cross as well. So you can kind of see, the double cross imagery there. We're talking about matters of, having that existential need of fulfillment within yourself, and it's really talking about having faith, relying on your spirituality, and trusting in the universe, trusting in God, that there's a reason that all this is occurring for you. So this may be a really big time of sort of some sort of spiritual enlightenment for you, Scorpio. So have faith that that's all happening for a reason, and there will be deeper meaning to all that. Because we do also have the sun coming through as well, so that really does talk about happiness and that warmth, and once again just shining the light on all this stuff, and making you realize that, hang on, there is something a little bit more there. Maybe that's why I've been feeling like something's missing, because maybe what's missing is this spiritual side of yourself, and falling into that side of yourself a little bit more, relying on that side of yourself a little bit more, relying on your intuition, and relying on, like I said, if you can astral travel, all those sorts of things, having faith that these things, can actually help give you fulfillment in this life. All right. But there is also the mouse card as well. So I do feel that there is still a bit of, having that worry in the back of your mind, it niggling away at you, that, that that there's something not quite right about your sense of faith. Okay, so I feel as though there's not. Have faith in yourself as well. Okay, don't let anything sort of niggle away at you in the back of your mind. Don't let yourself overthink about anything at this time, because that's just going to be stealing your energy from you and putting you into a negative space. Whereas you really need to have faith in yourself and in your faith in general. All right, but we'll grab you some affirmation cards as well, Scorpio. So affirmations for Scorpio with their shadow work, please. But yeah, I really am feeling like we're on a big spiritual journey at the moment, Scorpio. So, you know, let me know in the comments, you know, whereabouts in your journey you are, guys. Very interested to know. As you can probably tell, I get quite excited when I see those sorts of messages coming out. You know, it's very reminiscent of my own path in this world. So it means a lot to me to see that happening for other people as well. Scorpio. Okay, so Scorpio, we do have this card here, which does say, my friendships support me, nourish me, and inspire me. Okay, so maybe needing to rely on our support groups at this time a little bit as well, talking through these things with them. All right, and then we do have this beautiful sun card. So once again, as we saw, we did get that sun card for you, Scorpio. Okay, so this one sort of confirming that message there. The more I honor my inner light, the more I brighten the world. I choose to shine. So having faith in yourself and shining that beautiful light that you are. Okay, Scorpio? I love that for you guys. That's actually a beautiful message. And yeah, like I said, let me know whereabouts in your spiritual journey you are, because I really adore all that sort of stuff and could talk about it forever. But yeah, I'm sure you guys, you know, once you've sort of been through your own spiritual awakening and things like that, it really enlightens you to how beautiful that path is, even when it does sometimes have a lot of harder things to deal with along it. Okay, but I'll move over to Sagittarius. How are we, Sagittarius? Just doing our shadow work reading today for that moon energy. Obviously, that full moon in Sagittarius. So you guys may be quite affected this time around. You know, it does bring with it a lot of revelations about your values and your self-worth, and you know, stepping back and looking at the bigger picture in your life as well. Okay, Saggy. All right, so Sagittarius and shadow work, please. Shadow work for Sagittarius. Okay, Sagittarius. There we go. We've got the rejection card coming out there, Sagittarius. So dealing with, you know, when you felt rejected in the past, you know, rejection is a big thing. You know, I know there is even, you know, rejection dysmorphia and things like that, where, you know, the more that you get rejected, the more you believe that you're worth rejecting and those sorts of things. You know, so rejection may be something we're needing to look at, and how we're dealing when with rejection in our life at the moment there, Saggy. So you know, it's a tough one, I know. You know, nobody likes to be rejected from the things that they want, but it is something that everyone has to deal with at some point or another. We do also have pride coming through there, Sagittarius. So maybe looking at your own sense of pride, maybe when it does come to rejection as well, are we being quite prideful, feeling as though we're deserving things, and then, you know, when we're not getting those things, is that shattering our pride a little bit? But we'll see what comes out with the lenormand. Rejection for Sagittarius, please. Rejection for Sagittarius, please. Okay. And pride for Sagittarius, please. Okay, so when it comes to rejection, there we do have the bear energy coming out for us. So that's kind of talking about, it is very strong and powerful energy, that bear card, but it does talk about, protecting yourself and being quite defensive. So when we're dealing with rejection, are we protecting ourselves from rejection in negative ways? Are we being very defensive when we're rejected? Feeling as though, once again, I'm getting that intertwinement with the pride, feeling as though I deserve that. So, you shouldn't reject me because I deserved that. The bear is all about standing strong in your own power, but not to the point of, overdoing it. So not overprotecting yourself, not being overly defensive, but also not being overly prideful and overly, like expecting that rejection can't happen to you, because it can happen to everybody. Um, so it's kind of, yeah, it's standing in your own power and standing strong through rejection and not allowing it to make you too sort of overprotective or defensive. Okay. We do also have the cross coming through there. So I do feel as though, that can be a bit of a, it's probably some rejection in the past that is a bit of a burden to you, like a cross to bear, that you were rejected for something that you truly felt that you deserved. All right, but with the cross also, it does also let us know that, sometimes rejection is, for our best interests as well. There's that sense of destiny with that. So sometimes, if you were rejected from something or by someone, obviously in some way that was not for your highest good. So, if you were for example, if you were rejected for a job that you really wanted, but if you had have gotten that job, you would have missed out on this next job, which actually turned out to be like perfect. And that job you were rejected for, it may have actually ended up, like, who knows, that company may have dissolved within a month, and you would have lost that job anyway. Okay, so sometimes, rejection is God's protection, from the things that are actually going to serve us the best in this world. So sometimes it's talking about, relying on trusting in God, that, or the universe, whatever you believe in, trusting that there was a reason that rejection happened. Even it doesn't feel nice, but there is a reason that happened. And with the clover here next, it does bring about more good fortune. Sometimes, accepting a rejection actually brings more good fortune and gives us the opportunity to take risks that we may not have taken otherwise. If we were accepted for that job in the first place, we may not have even taken the chance to apply for this other job. And now this other job turns out to be, ideal, and, the best pay and all that sort of a thing. Okay, so it really opens us up to, taking a chance on things that we maybe didn't expect for ourselves. And it can actually bring in a lot more good fortune for us. So I just feel that looking at the things that you are feeling rejected from in your life may be quite important to you at this time. And like, realize, like, sort of looking at how that rejection, if you weren't rejected for that thing or that person, would you be where you are now? Would you have this other thing that you have now? You know what I mean? So it's kind of just sort of using the rejection in your past, and the ways that we're dealing with rejection as well. All right. Now when it comes to the pride, we do have the house, and the anchor. All right. So I'm feeling that you guys are quite stable in your pride for yourselves. All right. And you know, with the house is all about security and stability. So are we feeling too secure, too prideful? Like, you know, pride can be a really good thing, but you know, when we do take it to extreme, and then we get comfortable in that, you know, that those rejections hurt even more, because your expectations maybe are unrealistic. All right, so I'm feeling that you guys are quite, you know, stuck in a bit of a cycle at the moment where you're being quite prideful. So maybe just needing to look at aspects of pride within yourself. And are you being prideful, you know, out of genuine positive energy, love for yourself, or are we sort of, you know, like I said, unrealistic expectations? I do feel as though for some of you, you know, we're sort of needing to shift a little bit out of those unrealistic expectations, and, you know, have pride for not only yourself, but the things that you do, but also having pride for others. All right, so other people around you. I feel as though for a lot of you, it's going to be talking about, you know, having actual, like, showing more pride in others, not just in yourself, but you know, elements of pride in others around you. Okay, because we do have the crossroad there, so it's just showing us that there may be an alternate path that we can take. All right, so really looking at, you know, choices and decisions, needing to choose whether you want to continue down this path, or whether you should be choosing a path, you know, maybe not as much pride on that path, not as much pride to be walking that path, but it may actually be for your long-term betterment. All right, so especially with the example I used before of the job, you know, do you, that job, do you want that job just because, oh, it looks so good on my resume, I you know, I get to dress up like this and everyone thinks I'm better than them because I've got this job. You know, uh, that kind of a vibe is what I'm getting. But whereas, you know, if you take another job and you choose to be like, and you go and choose the path of being a garbage man, and picking up trash, you know, it may not be the most prideful job, but you start doing this job and you're like, actually I really enjoy this. Like, I'm actually really enjoying this job. Like, I enjoy the hours, they suit me so much better. Like, I enjoy the freedom of being out in the, like, you know, traveling up different streets instead of being stuck in an office. You know, we can have pride for even the smallest little things in our life. And I'm just sort of really getting that at the moment. It's like, it's kind of like that, as you can kind of see with this crossroads card here. It's kind of got this lit up road here, and then there's other paths here that maybe a little bit darker, but it's kind of a bit like, you know, pride. If you think of pride as this center line, and then it's so easy to shift over into too prideful or not prideful enough. So I feel like we're really sort of walking this line at the moment, and really just needing to sort of just check whereabouts we are on that path. Are we too far over here? Are we too far over here? Okay, and just really needing to find a bit of balance when it comes to, you know, pride within yourself. All right, so quite an interesting one to be getting. You know, it's one of them odd ones that I don't normally get much coming out with the shadow work, but you know, it is what it is. So I'm sure it'll mean a lot to someone out there, that they'll know exactly what I'm talking about. All right, but we'll see what affirmations we've got coming through for you there. Okay, so I feel like I got these exact same cards for Scorpio. Quite odd. Okay, so Sagittarius, we have, instead of taking on the fear of others, I reflect love. Okay, and then we also have, the difficult relationships in my life are perfect mirror for me to look more closely at my behavior. Okay, so if you are having difficulty within some relationships in your life, I feel as though this is linking with that pride element as well. So looking at your own behavior, is how would that person perceive you? Are they perceiving you as too prideful? And maybe that's part of why it is a difficult relationship at this time. All right. So really just sort of taking that into consideration when it comes to your shadow work this month, maybe looking in the mirror when it comes to pride and rejection. Okay. But moving on to Capricorn. How are we today, Capricorn? Just doing our shadow work reading for the full moon. Okay, Capricorn, shadow work for Capricorn, please. Okay, so I've gotten this first one for a couple of other signs today as well, but we do have self-love coming through there, Capricorn. So, really, especially with this full moon, the full moon in Sagittarius, it is all about our values and our self-worth. So I'm not surprised that it's come out for so many of our signs today. I also had this particular one, I believe, came out for Aries as well. So discover your life purpose. All right, so looking at issues around your self-love, okay, your self-worth, this shadow work season, this full moon, we are sort of, wanting to love ourselves just a little bit more, appreciate the beauty within ourselves, all right, and discovering your life's purpose. There may be some things in your life, Capricorn, that you are sort of hiding passion for. So we'll see what comes out in regard to that as well. So Capricorn and self-love, please. Capricorn and self-love. Capricorn and self-love. Whoa, that's too many. Capricorn and self-love. Okay, and discover your life's purpose for Capricorn, please. Discover your life's purpose for Capricorn. Okay, so basically, Capricorn, what I'm getting for the self-love section here, we have the house, which is followed by the chains card, okay? So that pretty much directly talks about, feeling quite chained to the way that you're thinking. I feel, like the chains card, obviously feeling bound to a certain way of thinking about yourself. It's secure, it's stable. That's how you've always felt. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just getting that voice in your head has always been mean. Okay, so you're comfortable with that. You're used to that. You're not used to loving yourself. All right, so it's kind of being a bit bound because you're so stable in that. So even the negative energies, we can become quite used to that, and so then it becomes something quite stable and secure and makes us feel safe. But that with the chains there, it's actually holding us back. It's restraining us from loving ourselves fully. So it's kind of letting us know, challenge those things that we've been so safe and in feeling that way about ourselves, but really needing to challenge that. And why are you feeling that way? Why are you letting that bind you? Why are you letting that hold you back from loving yourself? Because then that's followed through with the bouquet. So the bouquet really does talk about giving love and giving to yourself. And giving, like when we're talking about self-love, it's really giving yourself love. So and then you can actually start to receive more love in your life as well. All right, so it's pretty straightforward. There's a few things within yourself that you're like, I just keep getting that thing, you just, that voice in your head, you're so used to it, it's just become part and parcel. That's safe. You understand that voice because you've heard it for a long time, but it's actually holding you back quite a lot, and you need to start giving to yourself and questioning that voice, asking that voice, hang on, that's not true. Like, that little voice telling you that you're this or you're that, that may not actually be true. Like, you've probably grown and evolved a lot since that little voice first started saying that to you, and it's just become so um, it's just become like so comfortable that you're just used to it and you just believe it because it's there. Where it's really telling me to challenge that, stop letting that hold you back, and challenge those self beliefs that have held you back. Okay, give to yourself, give a lot of love to yourself, give yourself the time to, work out why you're feeling so secure in that belief, because it may not be true. Okay. Then when it comes to discovering your life's purpose, we do have the clover, okay, and that's followed by the mice card. Okay, so once again, it's pretty straightforward for you today, Capricorn. With the clover, that is a general sort of good luck card, and it does talk about taking a chance. Okay, so with the mouse card, we really do see something, something that you've either thought you lost in the past. We do have the tower here as well. So something you either thought you lost in the past, or something that's been sort of eating away at you in the back of your mind for a long time. All right, I'm getting a sense of time with that tower, and it can be talking about the past quite heavily. All right, so I do feel as though there's something in the back of your mind eating away at you that, you've had it in the back of your mind for a long, long time, and now is actually the chance, the time to take a chance on that, and take a chance towards that, because that could actually be involving your true life's purpose. All right, so there's definitely something in the back of your mind. I feel as though a lot of the people in the collective are going to know straight away what that thing is for them, and what's been eating away at you for years and years, that you just have never sort of followed that passion. Okay, so it's probably going to be some sort of passion or ambition that you do have, some desire, secret desire that you do have, and now really is the time to take a chance on that and open up to that, and allow that to come in for you, Capricorn. All right. I feel like this full moon is actually going to be, it is the full moon of revelations. So you may actually be getting a big revelation coming through about what that is, and how that is your life's purpose to follow that. All right. So affirmations for Capricorn, please. Okay, so here we go. Um, I I breathe calmly and easily. I am safe in this moment. Okay, so I feel as though we're referencing that house energy, that thing, those things that we've been saying to ourselves. You're safe in that moment, but you're safe in those. But rather than being safe in those, be safe in this moment, and challenge that, and be safe to challenge that. Okay, and then we do have this card here, which says, all that I love is more important to me than all that I fear. Okay, so when it comes to, taking a chance to follow your life's purpose, everything that you love and desire is worth a lot more than the fears that may be there, around that as well. Whatever's holding you back, whatever it is that's holding you back, love, like following the things that you love, is more important than that fear. Okay, Capricorn. That's actually a really nice message for you guys. And myself, I'm a Capricorn as well, so I love that for us. But we'll move on to Aquarius. How are we, Aquarius? Just needing to check the time. I have to pick my son up shortly, so I just don't want to run too far over time today. Okay, so Aquarius, shadow work for Aquarius, please. Okay, we did have this same card for one of the other signs there. I believe it was Taurus. So if you do have strong placements in Taurus, I would suggest watching that section as well. We do have the victim consciousness card coming out, quite a heavy energy. It talks about, whereabouts in our life are we sort of playing the victim? Whereabouts are we putting blame on others and not taking responsibility for our own role in those things? All right. Then we do have beauty as well. Okay, so I feel for you guys, Aquarius, that's going to be about looking at your own beauty and accepting your own beauty and really reveling in that. Okay. But we'll see what's coming out in the Lenormand. Okay, so victim consciousness for Aquarius, please. Victim consciousness for Aquarius, please. Okay, and beauty for Aquarius, please. Beauty for Aquarius, please. Whoop. Okay, one flying out there. All right, so when it comes to that victim consciousness, quite interesting energy I've got here about that victim consciousness. We do have the clouds energy there. We also have the void. That's one of the Joker cards, one of the wild cards there, as well as the anima, so the feminine energy. All right, so it's quite interesting. All right, because the clouds and the feminine are actually kind of like opposite energies here. The feminine is very emotional and nurturing, whereas the clouds is kind of that overthinking, stuck in your logical brain kind of thing. But then right here in the middle, we have that void. So that's like that black hole that sucks all that energy in. Okay, so I feel as though what it's sort of letting us know is that when it comes to blame and blaming yourself or blaming others, um, feeling like you are the victim of circumstance. So it's kind of that vibe of, oh, why does all these horrible things happen to me? It's kind of talking about finding that balance with like looking at those things logically, but also looking at those things emotionally, and you know looking at other people's sides of the situation as well. There is that saying that it's like there's three sides to a story: your side, my side, and the truth. So the truth being somewhere in between. And I am kind of finding that void is going to be the truth of the matter. Like, are you allowing yourself to not take any blame when really you need to be taking responsibility for your own actions? Even if you are legitimately the victim, do you need to actually stop and look at how you dealt with that? Like, did you deal with that in the best way possible, or could you have dealt with that in a different way? Or, like, do you take the blame too much in situations? Do you take all the responsibility, whereas you should actually be putting some of that responsibility on the other people in the situation? So it's really talking about finding balance when it comes to victim consciousness. So issues of blame, I feel, within your life. Okay, so not blaming other people, but not blaming yourself either. Having forgiveness for others as well as yourself. All right. So that, because that void, that really can talk about endless possibilities, that emptiness, that distance. Okay, so um you know it's that unknowable element, that black hole that sucks all this energy in. So it's kind of like the more that you if you are someone who finds yourself saying, oh, they did that, they did this, they did that, the more that you do that, it's going to suck all this into this black hole where that's going to be the continual experience, and that's all you're going to be able to see is the darkness of life. Whereas if you balance out these elements, and balance out your own role to play within these things, as well as the other people's roles, you're going to be able to start seeing the light in life. Okay, so I feel that that's really just talking about finding a balance when it comes to blame issues in your life, okay? For some of you, it's going to be that scenario where it's like, why is all these horrible things happening to me? All right, if you're looking at life like, oh, all these horrible things keep happening to me, you're not seeing the light. You're not seeing the possible beautiful things that could be happening to you as well. So it's kind of really balancing those things out for yourself as well, and not allowing yourself to be the victim of circumstance. Okay, so quite a tough energy, I understand, but that's sort of what's coming through for me there. All right. Now, when it comes to beauty, we do have the cross here, okay? So I feel that for some of you, your beauty is a burden, okay? Like, oh, sorry, Aquarius, I'm just being like, a bit silly there. But, it can be like that because, we all know that, if you do look a certain way, you get treated differently to if you look a different way. It's just how society is, unfortunately. So your beauty or your lack of beauty or physical beauty may be actually a burden to you. You may actually experience, you may be someone who's experienced bullying when you were younger, or even still, or you may be on the other side of the spectrum, and you may be quite physically beautiful, but a lot of people have trouble. I do know, like I've got a few friends that are quite physically beautiful, and they really struggle having genuine connections with people because people only see the physical and they think, oh, you're just a dumb blonde or something like that, and it's definitely not the case. All right. And obviously on the other side of the spectrum, I myself am someone that, I have been fat shamed for a lot of my life for being such a bigger girl and things like that, and I definitely have been judged negatively, because of my lack of beauty according to societal standards. So, it can go both ways. And no matter where you are on that spectrum, it's something that everyone sort of struggles with, that self-image, that self-worth. Okay. So just, I do feel it is a bit of a burden, but, have faith that, everything goes the way that it's supposed to in this life as well. All right. And we are actually looking into some new chapters coming up when it comes to beauty in your life. I feel as though this may be some external beauty coming into your life because we do also have the ring. Okay. So we may actually what we might be seeing here is a new chapter, a new relationship, not necessarily love, but very definitely could be, where they're going to make you feel beautiful. That may be something you've not experienced before. It may be something that you've not experienced, someone being able to see the internal beauty or the physical beauty of you. Okay, so it feels like it's going to be a brand new chapter for you with understanding what beauty is, and understanding what that is for you. So if you're someone, who has felt that, no one ever sees your inside beauty, I feel as though we're going to be entering new chapters where someone will. And if you're someone who feels as though no one's ever seen your external beauty, I feel like you're entering a chapter where, someone's coming in who will appreciate all that for you. Okay, so quite beautiful. And it's definitely sort of feeling like somebody is coming in for you either way. Okay, so no matter which side of the spectrum you're on, I feel as though, someone is going to be coming in, and it's quite destined, and it's going to sort of really make you embrace that beauty within yourself. Okay, affirmations for Aquarius, please. Okay, so here we go. We do have this. It may be a friendship coming in for us there. My friendships support me, nourish me, and inspire me. Okay. And then also, my power lies in my peaceful presence. Okay, so that maybe is, there's someone out there that maybe your beauty in this world is that you have a peaceful presence, and people enjoy being around you because of just the energy that you exude. So that definitely could be some of the Aquarians out there as well. Let me know how that resonates and whereabouts on that spectrum you feel that you fit, because I know we all probably feel that we all fit on that low end of the spectrum of beauty. I think that's, you know, pretty common thing that a lot of people do, you know, struggle with self-image and self-worth. You know, but there is definitely beauty in each and every one of us, okay? You know, and like I said, that with this full moon, it really does shine a light on our self-worth and our like our values, and maybe some big revelations coming when it comes to those things, okay? But last and not least, we'll go over to Pisces. How are we today, Pisces? Just doing our shadow work. Whoa. Doing our shadow work reading for the full moon. Now, this full moon in Sagittarius, Pisces, you guys are one of the signs that are going to be affected probably the most by that. So it may be a very interesting time for you. It is the full moon of revelations, okay? So there may be some big personal revelations coming through to you. You know, it does shine a light on, you know, your values and your self-worth, okay? So it really is all about stepping back and looking at the bigger picture, okay, and sort of seeing your value in this world as well. So quite a good energy for shadow work this month, but we'll see what comes through for you, Pisces. Pisces, shadow work for Pisces, please. Quite a few people have gotten this, quite a few of the signs have gotten this card today, Pisces. So you may want to check your other placements. This is the hole in the soul card, okay? So it's talking about that sense of emptiness, that sense of missing something within yourself, within your soul, within your life, okay? That thing that's missing for you, okay? We also have the sadness card coming through as well. So, you know, elements of sadness and grief, obviously quite strong. Something in your life that, you know, is creating that sense of emptiness and sadness within you. I feel that they're probably very, very linked, those two. But we'll see what the lenormand has to say for you. Just had one shoot out there, but I haven't asked for the cards yet, so I'll just wait. Put that back. See if it wants to come out, it will definitely come back out. I've had other ones doing that today, so if they want to come out, they definitely do. Okay, so hole in the soul for Pisces, please. Hole in the soul for Pisces, please. Okay, and sadness for Pisces, please. Sadness for Pisces, please. Sadness for Pisces. Okay, I do just need to keep an eye on the time, so I need to pick my son up very soon, so I'm just not wanting to. I might have to pause, but I'll see what we can. You know, I talk too much, so I just stop talking and get to the reading. All right, guys. So when it comes to that hole in the soul, we do have the candle coming out first. Okay, so I do feel as though this sense of emptiness is probably related to, you know, like love kind of situations. You know, it could also be just, you know, in general passion, things that you're passionate about and desire in this world. You know, we do see that candle burning strong. The candle really does talk about, you know, like leaving a candle in the window for someone that you love, kind of a vibe, and feeling as though you're missing somebody, that maybe missing someone that you haven't yet met is the kind of vibe I'm getting with that candle. You know, I do feel as though this is actually talking about that soulmate connection and wanting that soulmate connection. So for a lot of the Pisces, I feel as though that's what we feel like we're missing. That's what we're feeling like is making us feel a little bit empty and sad even. You know, that candle though, it does burn brightly and it does have a lot of passion and desire. So you know, I do see that with this candle being lit and bright, you know, I do feel as though that's something that definitely, you know, could burst into flame for you guys, especially when we do see the book coming out next. So I feel as though this is actually a prediction for you, Pisces, that hole in the soul, that thing that you feel that you're missing when it comes to passion, that thing that you feel that that you're a bit empty when it comes to a soulmate. mark my words. I do feel like this is a prediction, Pisces, that there is definitely a new chapter starting for you, a new energy into your life coming in pretty soon. I feel like this is relatively soon. I do feel like we're looking at a new chapter with love coming in. We do also have the moth energy there, which is transformation and, flying off into the sunset, the like a moth to the flame kind of a vibe, like going to be so drawn to this new start. It's definitely some sort of a new start with that book card there. And it's going to feel, I feel like it's going to feel like a whole new story, like a story that you never thought would be written for you, where it's that story is transforming and becoming this butterfly, this moth, coming out of your cocoon, filling that gap within you. I I feel like that's a prediction, Pisces. I feel like there's someone coming in for you guys pretty soon, actually. Like I can't really feel a time frame on that, but it's kind of like I want to say within a few months. All right, I do want to say within a few months. So relatively soon, Pisces. So let me know, guys. Because that feels like for a lot of the collective, that feels like a outright prediction going on there that there's someone coming in for you guys that's going to help you. You're going to forget all about that hole in your soul because it's going to be full before you even know it. You're not going to feel empty anymore because yeah, it feels like, like that plug in the bathtub. You're not even going to know that you're not even going to realize, but all of a sudden it's filling up and filling up and filling up and filling up and like a moth to a flame. Like I just keep getting that in my head now too, like a moth to a flame. Like you guys are going to be so drawn to each other and it's going to be amazing. Okay. With that new book energy, it's going to be fantastic. I really like that energy. It's beautiful. All right. Now when it comes to that sadness element, I do have here the clover, the garden, and the clouds. Okay, so straight away with the clouds, I feel like yes, that's that thoughts card. Okay, that's a little bit of anxiety and overthinking things. So when it comes to the things that are making you feel sad, you kind of maybe are overthinking them a little bit and needing to actually stop thinking so logically about these things. Just deal with those emotions. Feel those emotions rather than trying to stay up in your head. Stay down here in your heart for a little bit and see if that helps you. Approach that sadness face on a little bit there, because I do really feel that this is a sort of separate-ish message that with the clover, that does talk about good luck and good fortune, but it does also talk about taking a chance, taking a risk. And then we do have the garden. Okay, so that's a social card. So I feel as though we're sort of taking a risk towards being more sociable, and I feel like taking a risk about maybe talking to people about these emotions, these sadness that you do feel, and that's going to actually help you overcome these feelings and overcome this anxiety and overthinking that you're in. I do want to mention too that the garden can actually mean like social media. So there may be like a support group or some group that you're involved in on social media that may actually be really supportive to you at this time. So take a chance and reach out to whoever this social thing is for you, and it may actually really help you deal with your sadness. So I know on Facebook there's quite a lot of Facebook groups that are specifically about grief and loss and mourning and dealing with sadness. So in different ways, there's quite a lot of groups. So whatever suits your situation the best. Maybe it is time to reach out to somebody and ask, just ask for a bit of support. I feel as though it's a good time to take that chance because that support really is there for you and will help you sort through your thoughts a bit there, Pisces. But we do have some affirmations for Pisces. Affirmations for Pisces. Okay, I keep getting the same cards coming out for everybody, so it's quite obvious that, you know, this full moon shadow work is kind of a communal thing. A lot of us are going through very similar things, you know, so we're getting some very similar messages and cards throughout all the readings today. Quite interesting though, but this is like, I think, the third time this is. It's a deck with, how many cards does it have? 52 cards. 52 cards, and I've only drawn 24 today, and this is the third time I've gotten this card. Okay, the difficult relationships in my life are the perfect mirror for me to look more closely at my own behavior. All right, so when it comes to those sadness elements, looking at, you know, the things that you're struggling with, you know, maybe looking at your own behavior within those as well. Okay, you know, looking yourself in the mirror about how you've dealt with those relationships, and have you dealt with those relationships? Have you dealt with that sadness? Maybe needing to you know, have a bit more of a look at those issues. All right, and then we do have this one as well, which says, when I see good in others, I acknowledge it out loud. Okay, so when you see beauty in others, when you see good things in others, acknowledging it. When you see good things in yourself, make sure you acknowledge that as well, Pisces. Okay, can be hard to acknowledge some of the good qualities that we do have, but making sure that you do, and do it out loud as well. No one's listening when you're talking to the mirror, right? The only person listening is you. So acknowledge those beautiful things about yourself out loud, and you know, give yourself some love, Pisces. All right, but thank you all so much for your time today, and hopefully you all you know, get through this full moon okay, and you know, like I said, please leave a comment or a like, subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate it. But if this is where we leave each other, thank you all so much for your time today.